all of our phenomenal viewers, listeners, and supporters. I am your host, Brianna, PodcastBri Harris, and I am so excited to be here. If you're a new audience member, we are so grateful to have you. Welcome to another episode of Connected, where we discuss all things mental health, recovery, and employment and stories. Before we dive in, this show is sponsored by Contra Casa Behavioral Health Services, Kaiser, and John Muir. Today's guest is a survivor. After improving from almost a 20-year addiction, Kelly fell in love with mental health recovery. She is a 2021 S.P.I.R.I.T graduate, and after completing her internship here at Connections House, she was offered her first real job here. She is such a warrior with her passion for this work that her first time in a college classroom was teaching the S.P.I.R.I.T class in 2023. Kelly now works for the Office of Peer and Family Empowerment, and she is going to give us some more information on her journey here. Please welcome Kelly Perryman.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's going to be a good time per usual. She's going to give us some information on S.P.I.R.I.T a little bit and the Office of Peer and Family Empowerment. That is their new acronym. They used to be OCE. What did OCE stand for?
It stands Office for Consumer Empowerment, and it's now Office for Family and Peer Empowerment. It's a little confusing sometimes, and we're still getting used to the new name.
Yes. But you're going to give us a little bit more insight on that. And Kelly's going to tell us about her incredible story on what got her into mental health recovery and just public health in general. And it's going to be a great episode. So Kelly, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Of course. So, of course, my first question is what got you into public health?
So I was in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
I had just finished my inpatient treatment. I went to a substance use treatment. Like you said before, I was struggling with almost a 20-year meth addiction, and in an abusive relationship for 19 years as well, a narcissistically abusive relationship. And after I got out of treatment, I was still kind of confused on what was really happening with me, with the abuse, with the trauma, with the father of my 3 children. So I started searching for answers, and this was right after COVID hit. I was stuck in the house with nothing to do, and so I started researching narcissistic abuse. I had heard about it, so I wanted to learn more about it, what is that? So I found someone who specializes in narcissistic abuse on YouTube. His name is Richard Grannon. And I started to learn about it. And as I started to educate myself on it, I really started to understand more of my trauma and more of my abuse, and really that I needed to, I had already gotten out of the relationship, but I was still wanting to always talk to him and contact him, and so I needed to stay away. After I started educating myself on that, Richard Grannon's work, so a lot of it's just mental health recovery. And so I started falling in love with the mental health recovery piece of it. And so after that, I really seen myself working in mental health. And I also fell in love with the mental health recovery piece when I was in treatment. I loved doing the anger management groups, the relapse prevention, all of that kind of education. So I decided, I made a promise to myself that I wanted to work in the mental health field, and I wanted to run things in the mental health field. And so I made myself a promise that I was going to do that. And so I set out on a journey. Okay, how am I going to work in the mental health field? I know I need some type of education. So I knew I had to go back to college, or I had to go to start college somewhere. I got accepted into the S.P.I.R.I.T program. And when you're in the S.P.I.R.I.T program, one of the things that you do is a RAP plan. It's a wellness recovery action plan. And in there, I really learned, okay, what are my triggers? Which for me, I'm a person diagnosed with complex PTSD. So my own emotions were my own worst enemy. That's what would make me relapse. So once I learned how to control my own emotions and work on my emotional intelligence, I was able to stay clean.
Yeah.
Like that was my biggest trigger was my own emotions.
And that's huge. I feel like our own emotions are all of our biggest triggers. I know, like, as soon as I get stressed out about something or I'm in a heated discussion with my partner, I'm walking to the fridge to go get some sugar. Like, I need some sugar, something to, like, kind of relax myself. And then I'm like, I notice it now that, like, that is my addiction. That is my go-to when I'm feeling down, when I'm stressed out. I need, like, a simple release. And sugar is like a drug. It really is a drug. But yeah, our own emotions we can be in our head, and it can be very overwhelming. And then something that can turn to, okay, I just need a quick fix to just calm myself down. You're going to keep going to that quick fix, and then you're in an addiction, So it's good. Like, we all can learn to regulate our emotions and gain some more emotional intelligence. So to move it on just a little bit, so you got through the S.P.I.R.I.T program. And what does S.P.I.R.I.T stand for really quick?
S.P.I.R.I.T stands for Service Provider Individualized Recovery Intensive Training.
Beautiful. Okay. So when you're in the S.P.I.R.I.T program, which is a 6-month program, correct?
Yes. So it's a 9-unit college course taught at Contra Costa College, and it's in partnership with Contra Costa Health and the Office for Peer and Family Empowerment. Our office is in charge of teaching the classroom.
Okay.
We have 1 professor, 2 instructors, and 2 vocational specialists, and I am one of the vocational specialists.
Got it.
Yes. And when I was in the classroom, I found my purpose in the S.P.I.R.I.T classroom. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do when I was in the S.P.I.R.I.T class. I was like, aha, I found it. I found what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on the other side teaching the students.
Got it.
Yeah.
So with S.P.I.R.I.T, you do an internship, and then Kelly was able to get hired here at the clubhouse, and then she spent some time here, and then she said, okay, I kind of want to elevate and do more and make more of a difference within the community and the county. And so now she works for OP.
The acronym is we haven't quite figured that part out yet. OP, it sounds kind of weird.
Formerly known as OCE, but now they're working on a rebrand right now. And Kelly's going to tell us a little bit more about that. But thank you for sharing your story. I know it's so hard to talk about it over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's just
you get
like
choked up every time.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
That's and it's just a very like small, tiny part of my story, right? There's so much more which we could kind of get into as we go along.
Yeah.
Like how much I've accomplished through all the tools that I've learned in S.P.I.R.I.T. It's the most amazing thing.
Awesome. Okay. So what is OPFE and what resources do they provide?
Yeah, so Office for Peer and Family Empowerment is a department in the Mental Health Administration, Behavioral Health Administration. So our office, our biggest projects, we do different projects in our office. Our biggest one is the S.P.I.R.I.T program. This year we are celebrating our 30th year. So it's huge. And we have like overcoming transportation barriers, which is funds for people in our community for transportation, different needs. We have I Am Not a Case campaign, which is a stigma reducing campaign. So we also just help with a lot of community events. Like, we collaborate together at Connections House to help put on different events. But those are our biggest projects that we have within our office. And our boss is also kind of in charge of all the peers I don't want to say in charge, but she's the peer coordinator in the county.
So,
and my biggest mentor, one of my biggest mentors.
Awesome. So, how do you get in contact with the resource, the organization, and be a part of it? So, like, say I'm needing resources, and then I'm searching on Google, and I see it, and I'm like, oh, I click on it. What is my next step to be able to benefit from those resources?
Well, you could contact our office. The only thing is, we don't have a big social media presence anywhere. We don't even have our own website. It's like you have to go to the Contra Costa Health website, and then you end up kind of going to our department.
Is it like mostly referral based?
So there's no referral base for like our office, but if for other resources, we just kind of guide you to all the resources.
Okay.
But with the S.P.I.R.I.T program specifically, we send out the applications after our students graduate in July.
Okay.
And to all of our community partners.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so you've talked about a lot your recovery and your journey. So in your experience, what is a myth versus reality that you have faced throughout your recovery journey?
It's more of like a myth kind of that's in your own head, like that you are trapped, that you're trapped in the abuse and that you can't get out. A lot of the time you can get out, either you just don't have the skills or the resources. Maybe in our county, we have a lot of resources. That's the best part about living in Contra Costa County is we have so many resources to help you get out, and that there is help out there, and that you can get out, and that from my own experience, one of my own myths was that no one was ever going to love me ever again. And what I learned is that I love me again. I had to work really, really hard to find my love, to find who I am. Yeah, the myth that no one will ever love you and that you can find love and it's within yourself.
And you have family that loves you.
And I have my kids that love me. My kids are so proud of me. They are so proud that I got out when I did, before he was killed, so that my recovery was solid when he died. And it was still really hard when he died. I was working here at the Connections House, and thank God I had the support here, the staff that's really supported me through that hard time, because my recovery was definitely tested. I was 2 years clean, and I had thought about even relapsing. But because I had built up my foundation of wellness tools, my recovery wellness toolbox that you build with the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, I was okay. I pulled out my WRAP plan and was like, okay, what all do I need to do to keep myself well so that I don't relapse again?
Awesome. So how has the S.P.I.R.I.T program changed your life?
It has given me meaning and purpose. Like, I found my purpose in life. I love my job. I love working with my students. It is the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life to work with people in recovery. So the S.P.I.R.I.T program, the S.P.I.R.I.T class, is all people with lived experience. So the requirement is to either have lived experience, right, with mental illness, substance use, homelessness, and or incarceration. So I work with so many different people in different parts of their recovery journey. And, you know, the S.P.I.R.I.T program, I got my first real job. Like you said, before the S.P.I.R.I.T program, I thought I was stupid. I thought that I couldn't do anything, that I couldn't have a real job. Sorry.
It's okay.
And when I started working here, I started building my confidence and knowing I can do it, that I am smart enough. That's another myth, right? That when you're in the abuse, you think you're not smart enough because you stay in the abuse for so long that you think
that's all you know.
Yeah, it's all you know.
You only believe like what the person's telling you.
And so S.P.I.R.I.T has given me just great purpose. And it's funny because when I was in the Spirit program, when I was in the Spirit class, I found out that we have an interagency softball tournament. And I grew up playing softball. I played up until I started using when I was 15 years old. And that was my last year playing competitively. And I don't know if I would have been good enough to go on to college ball, but I was going to try.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I met my ex-boyfriend and the drugs. And so that just went to a halt and I went to a stop. And so when I was in the Spirit class, I was like, oh, I found one of my other purposes. And so I knew that once that started up again, because it was during COVID and we weren't playing, and the Spirit class was all online. I was on my balcony in my chair and like with my little tab, like, I'm going to do this one day. I am going to make it and I am going to make something of myself. And so last year was the first year that we brought the softball tournament back. I played with my students. I'm the captain of the team, the Spirit team. I really wanted to play with my students. And also one of the biggest things that we do in the classroom is integrating our students back into the community, from years of isolation, from substance abuse, from trauma abuse, all those different things. And so playing with my students and being on the field with them, right? What real peer support is, and
it's encouragement, it's team building, it's bonding,
and
it's
coaching them,
discipline, it is all those things.
Yes, it's all those things. And so last year we played in the tournament, but we didn't make it to the championship. And so this year,
she has a trophy to show us.
let me get out.
That she wanted on the couch.
I did.
Bring it out.
Woo!
Look at that.
There we go. There's my baby right there. That's me and my team's baby, my Spirit class.
It's Kelly's.
Yes. So
Kelly keeps it at home. She worships it every night.
This is my precious right here.
That's your fourth child.
I think I'm the most protective of this. So we won this year. We won the championship. And to see my students' face, like to see their confidence building up, it's just the most amazing thing. Like, I'm in awe. Like, it brings me down. It humbles me.
Yeah.
I think recovery is the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, I cry every time.
Yeah.
I see my students succeed. I see them get jobs. I help them get jobs. That's what I do as the vocational specialist. So to see them win the trophy that day, it's just amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And to have my own dream come true.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to win that trophy one day.
It's like a double whammy. Like, I love my job and we get to play softball.
Yes.
Like, you're healing your inner child, you know? That's awesome.
It is, you know, like I set out on my early recovery journey to find who I am anymore. What do I like to do? What am I good at, right? And I found that I'm really good at mental health recovery. I'm really good at softball. I also started competing. I found my fitness journey, right? So growing up, I was a Spartan, right? When I played softball, when I was a first place nationals champion cheerleader for a year.
I was a cheerleader too.
Yeah, I only did it for a year, and then we won first place, and I got my trophy, and I left.
Right, you're like, I did it.
I was like, I did it, I'm gone. So,
been there, done that, wrote the book on it.
So like, I found my Spartan again. I was like, that's my thing. I'm a Spartan. I love this. And I've competed in 4 other competitions besides this one, like fitness competitions. At my other gym, I have an amazing fitness coach behind me that helps me with everything.
Yeah.
So this is a huge accomplishment right here, right? Not only teaching the Spirit class and working with them, getting this trophy and making it like our big 30th year anniversary to celebrate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just amazing.
Well, if you want to become a Spirit student and win this trophy,
defend it with me.
Holler at Kelly. No, so before we wrap up this episode, just give me how do you apply for the Spirit program? Just take us through a little bit of that.
Yes. So either you could go to the Contra Costa Health website, and there will be a Spirit application piece on the website. And also, we send the application out to all of our community partners. And you could also, since it is a community college, there are still some slots that you could go through with the college.
Okay.
Because it has to be that way. But most of our applications are, most of the college spots are through us.
Okay.
So that's the way we most of our students go.
And then there's an application process.
Yes,
obviously.
It's an application process. We do recommend 6 months clean.
Okay.
I was 6 months clean when I applied for Spirit myself.
Everything happens for a reason, Kelly.
Yeah. It just, I set my intent, in my early recovery journey, and I built up my moral philosophies, which I'd like to say, if you might. One of them is, I realized it as I was in the Spirit class, is turning adversity into an opportunity. And so I always do that by different things. Right after I buried him, I competed in a competition 3 days later. We had our last court date last week, and then I won this thing a week later.
Oh, wow.
So I always try to meet a negative with a positive, and I turn my pain into purpose.
Absolutely. Well, Kelly, this has been a phenomenal episode. Your story is phenomenal, and I know it'll inspire other people, and it will continue to, your legacy will definitely live on. Is there any lasting things you want to let us know, tell us about OCE, about the Spirit program, so that people can get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, I just want to say how much Spirit changes lives. It's the most amazing program. We become a family. Like it's we call it our Spirit family, right? Our alumni, right? And I do highly recommend. This is for people that live in our county, Contra Costa County. So if you would like to apply, I'll leave you my information, and you guys could email me, and then I could send you the application.
It'll be in the description below.
Yes, yeah.
This has been another episode of Connected. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in and is listening, and we'll see you guys another time. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you, Brianna.
Bye.